Matt Bernie, you're taking a look at the Friday DRF bets race of the day. Race number 5 at Santa Anita, 6.5 furlongs going down the hill, $40,000 claimers. Non-winners of 2 lifetime is the condition. Before we dive into the field, I'd encourage you to head on over to DRF Bets. Take a look at the latest promo that we have for you. Justify, 2 legs down, 1 to go. Will you be able to get over the hump and win the Triple Crown at Belmont Park? Get some free cash for all the Belmont Stakes action. Head on over to drf.com/bet for all the details. Let's take a look at the field of 8 fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They will go 6.5 furlongs down the hillside turf course. For free formulator pass performances, head on over to the Race of the Day page on drf.com. Right in post position order, the number 1 is Rosanna Dana. In for the $40,000 level. Again, obviously non-winners of 2 life. Tried the hillside turf course 5 and 6 starts back, both times to no avail. Most recently has been going 870 over at Los Alamitos. From a pace standpoint, I don't think this is going to work out particularly well for this horse, and I just have to be honest. I think from a class standpoint, she might be up against it. She's a 6-year-old mare at this point in her career. The number 2 is Twirling Apples. First time going out for Vladimir Serin. The Serin barn is just really, really strong right now. Hard to go against them, especially when you got a positive formulator fact like this one in your corner for Vladimir Serin. Past year, first after claim by 31 to 60 days. 7 for 13, 9 times in the money with a 447 ROI. This is a horse that was bet down to odds of 9 to 5 most recently. Kind of flopped going out there for Peter Urton. Now all of a sudden you take a look. We've had a little bit of time off. Goes out for Serin's barn. Has tried the hillside turf course one other time. That was when she was in for a $50,000 maiden claiming level. She didn't run poorly, beaten 3 3/4 of a length. Again, finishing 4th. You got to wonder from a tactical standpoint, at least she showed 3 starts back when she broke her maiden that she can sit a little bit, and that's something that a lot of these girls haven't proved that they are capable of doing at this point in her career. She is obviously a live contender here going out for Vladimir Serin. The number 3 is Christy Jackson going out for Ken Black. Kent DeSormo picks up the mount here. This is a horse, her only victory came going 6.5 on the main track. That was back in October of 2017. She won in gate-to-wire fashion. Since then, she's had a hard time getting to the front, and when she has, most recently, going a mile on the turf, she just didn't have enough to finish. Now, perhaps the turn back in distance is going to help her out, but it is worth noting she's going to go from the claiming 25 non-winners of 2 life level in her most recent start to the 40 non-winners of 2 lifetime level. We'll find out if perhaps Kent DeSormo can get her over the top. For what it's worth, the first and second place finishers of her most recent heat, they came back to be next out winners with buyers of 71 and 74, respectively. The number 4 is Red Shelby. This is a horse that figures to be forwardly placed for Peter Miller as well as Victor Espinoza. Let's consult the Timeform US Pace Projector. The Pace Projector indeed has the 4 Red Shelby out on the front end, followed by the 6 and the 3 horse. I think there are a number of horses that want to be forwardly placed, and that could be detrimental to a horse like Red Shelby. But again, it's always sort of a difficult scenario in a race like this. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. Many of them have proven that they don't like to pass horses. So arguably, the best place to be in a race like this is actually out on the front end. And if Red Shelby can get out there, she set legitimate fractions most recently, especially if you look at the Timeform US pace numbers for those first 2 calls, a 150 and a 134, both of them color-coded red, meaning they were fast paces. If you think she can go a little bit slower this time around, perhaps you get something similar to what we saw 2 starts back when she broke her maiden for the $50,000 claiming tag. Let's go to the number 5 horse, Lethal Legacy, going back out for Gary Studi after a quick start for Steve Sherman up north at Golden Gate. This is a horse, I hate to just be as blunt as this, but 1 for 34 and 12 times second or third. If you're going to use this mare, use her underneath or at your own kind of cause or peril, because I don't think she's a particularly likely win candidate. The number 6 is Diva Lamoose for Bob Baffert, a horse I've never been a big fan of. She always took money early on in her career. 6.5, this really feels like what she wants to do. The problem is I don't think she's particularly good. Her most recent start was first time going out against winners. Complete disaster. She showed big pace, faded down the lane. I have a hard time envisioning a different scenario this time around, particularly drawing outside of the number 4 Red Shelby. I think they're going to go an honest clip early on, and she broke her maiden 2 starts back, again, in gate-to-wire fashion. I just don't see a scenario where this works out for her. Maybe the sort of slight drop going from that starter allowance now into the non-winners of 2 life is going to be beneficial, but at the same time, I just think she's way up against it from a little bit of a class standpoint, but particularly from a pace standpoint. I don't know that she's fast enough to make the front, and I don't think she's going to pass any horses. That's the number 6, Diva Lamoose. The 7 is Operandi going out for Doug O'Neill. Now, perhaps this is a horse that, because she's so lightly raced, because she's a 3-year-old facing a number of horses that we kind of know what their MO is at this point in their career, maybe she's the one with all the upside. Highest last out buyer in the field with a 64 when she broke her maiden against Maiden Special Weight Company. I have to be honest, that was a weaker group than what she's going to be facing here on Friday afternoon. But again, perhaps she is sort of the fresh face that you're looking for, and maybe she's the way that you're supposed to go and look in a race like this. On the flip side, you have a negative formulator fact for trainer Doug O'Neill. Over the past 4 years, Turf maiden winner last out, just 3 for 55. That's right around a 7 or an 8% win rate, and only 16 of them have hit the board with a 133 ROI. I suppose that 133 ROI is actually a positive because when you think about it, considering how low that win percentage is, clearly there must have been some good numbers in there. I believe you had a 12-1 and a 15-1 shot among those 3 winners. So that actually kind of makes up a little bit for all the lack of success. But at the same time, I think there are some things going against this horse. But conventional wisdom would say, lightly raced, going up against a bunch of horses that don't like to win, has the win most recently, good form, maybe Operandi is a logical alternative to some of the shorter prices in here on Friday. And the 8-horse will round things out. That's a little bit dangerous going out for Jim Cassidy. First start since April the 6th. That was going 2 turns and a 25 non-winners at 2 life. Really didn't show any sort of serious interest. 2 starts back, tried going down the hill in an allowance race. Had a little bit of an issue early on, but at the same time didn't really do much running. Broke the maiden in the debut going on dirt. Now, perhaps there's some feet issues or whatever else it may be, but to me, so far, the 2 turf races have left quite a bit to be desired, and the only time she's set foot on dirt, and she's run quite well. So maybe at some point you get her back to the dirt, although I will say, if you do believe that the pace heats up considerably, maybe she's one that can come with a run because she has shown in the past that she can sit and come with a little bit of a finish as she did in that career debut. She is the number 8, little bit dangerous in the Friday DRF Bets race of the day. Let's take a look at where I'm going to go in the DRF Bets race of the day for Friday. I'm going to go with Twirling Apples. Again, it's one of those instances, sometimes we overthink so many things. We look and see, X, Y, and Z, going back and looking at form of races and trip notes and X, Y, and Z. Vladimir Serin is just rocking and rolling right now, and this horse fits in here from a speed figure standpoint and fits in here as far as the race shape is concerned. I'm just going to go with Twirling Apples. I think she might end up being one of the choices, if not the outright favorite in here, but I think she could work out a good trip similar to what I'd like a position similar to what she had 3 starts back, and I understand that was a route of ground, but I'm basically saying 2 or 3 lengths off of it. Try to make that move, turn them for home, and take down the speeds out in the front. So the number 2, Twirling Apples for me in Friday's DRF Bets race of the day, the 5th at Santa Anita. Again, head on over to DRF Bets. We've got all sorts of good deals for you, but particularly this time of year, Justify. He's got the Derby. He's got the Preakness. Will he be able to get the Belmont and wrap up the Triple Crown for all of your Belmont Stakes sort of needs, plus some free cash? Head on over to drf.com/bet for all the latest details. Scheduled post time for Friday's DRF Bets race today, the 5th at Santa Anita, is 2:30 Pacific. Best of luck.